Guys, what's up? So I kept going. It's never gonna stop. But first, actually, let's start with this. At the end of The Shining, Jack Nicholson does the sign of the Baphomet. Okay, and then this also is interesting here. This girl accidentally did the sign of the Baphomet on TV, all obvious, and then she's like, "Oops." John Legend's like, "I'm not gonna look." So yeah, anyway, I thought that was cool too. So, more Shakespeare codes. Okay, in the Bible code where you find Shakespeare, you find all the different plays, and here's Titus. Tough, sin, or shin, which spells Titus. Okay, because earlier we saw, you know, bacon in there and stuff. And then we saw Caesar next to Shakespeare. Shin, Zion, Resh. We saw Romeo 3 times. We saw King Lear twice, and both in a diagonal, which is interesting. And then Henry appears 3 times. And of course, King Richard appears. So now I found Titus from Titus Andronicus. And then I found Cressida from Triolus and Cressida. Kuf, Resh, Zion, Vav, Dalet. Now the Vav, you're saying, well, why is a V in there? Because the Vav is actually silent many times in Hebrew. So Kre-zi-da. And then you just don't pronounce the Vav. Like a lot of Hebrew words, or letters, or Hebrew words have Vav as a letter in which it is silent. Okay, so we have Cressida, one of his other plays, and then we have Timon of Athens, or Timon of Athens. Tet, Mem, Nun. All near Shakespeare, y'all. And now here's where it gets crazy. I finally looked for Francis, okay? And the letters for Francis, Fe, Resh, Nun, Sin, Francis, only appear in Shakespeare's name. I looked through this whole thing, y'all. I color-coded each letter and then just kind of looked for patterns to see if it spelled it out. And yet it's not equidistant. However, it has a specific shape to it, and I think that is special. This almost looks like a running man. Okay? And what's weird is that the top letter, the R in Shakespeare, Resh, that means head. So this is almost like a body, and these are the arms, and these are the legs running. As if, Francis is in control of Shakespeare. Isn't that crazy? So then, of course, I went a step further. I looked at the top here. It's Vav, Yud, Lamed, Vav, Mem. William. So Vav, Yud, Lamed, Vav at the beginning. You pronounce the Vav, Vil, and then the Vav here can be the Om sound. O, and then M. William Shakespeare, y'all. And then Francis Bacon on the sides, creating the pyramid. See, now the bacon on the right is actually a different equidistance. So the bacon on the left is 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 across, 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 across to spell bacon. This one's 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3, 4 across, and then 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3, 4 across. So it's not a perfect triangular number, but it's still interesting because guess what? The words right here, here. So, here, I'll just pull it up on my phone here. Okay, so in Hebrew, so we know that this means William, right? But also, if we take these 3 letters, Vav, Yud, Lamed, just as the top of the pyramid, as we see, if you go Yud, Lamed, Vav, I apologize, Vav, Lamed, Yud, guess what that means? And me. So William Shakespeare and me, Francis Bacon. So Vav, Yud, Lamed in that spelling spells will or William, but Vav, Lamed, Yud spells and me because the word for and is Vav, Veli, and Li is me. Isn't that crazy? So it literally says will and me at the top of the apex pyramid. William Shakespeare and me, Francis Bacon. I mean, who else could find this stuff? I'm sure Illuminati already knew this stuff, but I'm just the first to expose it publicly. And there's also a Samech here. So we have two Francises right here. So F-R-N over here, S-S, Francis. And then we have F-R-N, Shin, Shin, Francis. So we have two ways of spelling it. And the Samech is kind of like his stomach, of this running man in the pyramid. Or, of course, it could represent the queens and kings passages within the pyramid itself, this Francis stuff. I don't know, maybe that's kind of more of a stretch. So this whole shape is a pyramid, and then Francis's name corresponds to the king's chamber and all the little tunnels in the pyramid, but that's a stretch. But it definitely looks like a running man to me. These are the arms, these are the legs, and Resh literally means head in Hebrew. So it's a body of Shakespeare, but Francis is using the arms and legs. He is in control, whereas he's just using the Shakespeare pseudonym as the body of work itself. And then we see Bacon, and let me tell you something. In this whole page, reiterate here, the only time you see Francis connecting is within Shakespeare in this whole page of the Bible Code. And the only time you see Bacon equidistant is near Shakespeare in the Bible Code. So I'm telling you, y'all, there's something to this. It's just not debatable anymore. This stuff is real, and all we have to do is equidistant letter spacing to find this stuff. And we'll find Titus next to Shakespeare. We'll find Cressida, one of his plays, next to Shakespeare. Richard, Henry, Lear, Romeo, Caesar. It's all there, and I'm sure I'll find some more. Truth is like a lion. Just let it out, and it will defend itself. If you're going down the wrong path, you're going to be self-conscious because you don't know if it's real, and you're just lying to yourself. But this stuff is real, y'all. Anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. Take it easy.